Dear friends, as the President of the European Jewish Congress, I have to inform you that 75 years after the Holocaust, Jewish life in Europe is under threat. In the last few days and weeks, we have all well informed about the wave of violent attacks on Jews in Europe and the United States. These attacks make headlines here and around the world for the period of time, but they are quickly replaced, as usual, by other stories, and so, for the general public, the issue becomes largely forgotten. However, for the 2.5 million Jews of Europe, anti-Semitism is ongoing reality of life. Harassment, verbal and physical attacks in the streets, in schools, at universities, on internet and social media happens every single day. This has led to a situation where more than 80% of European Jews feel unsafe in Europe. To live as a Jew today means to be daily reminded that you are a target. It is therefore not surprising that according to the 2019 report of the EU Agency for Fundamental Rights, 70% of European Jews hide their Jewish symbols in public for security reasons. And more than 40% consider immigrating to Israel or to other countries because they do not feel safe in their communities. This also means that if nothing will be done, some Jewish communities will slowly disappear and Jewish life could come to an end in the places where it flourished for hundreds of years, somewhere thousands of years. The anti-Semitism we face today has no ideological home. It is equally dangerous wherever it is found. It is the common denominator that unites extremists on the wide political spectrum as part of their politics of hate and intolerance that puts all of society in danger. It is no longer limited to classic anti-Semitism of the far-right and ultra-nationalists. Today, demonization of Jews is a trademark of radical Islam. And now, the far left is trying to hide its own anti-Semitism behind the mask of anti-Israeli activity. And with the political center becoming more fragile, these extremist movements and groups seek to gain political power by attacking the foundations of democratic societies. We saw it in the UK, where Corbyn ruined the Labour Party because of anti-Semitism. According to a poll taken just days before the general elections, 47% of Jews or British Jews said, "We will consider leaving the country if Corbyn is elected Prime Minister." Fighting to keep Jewish communities alive and safe should not be the responsibility of the Jews alone. It needs to be the responsibility and duty of our national leaders. Just as the threat of anti-Semitism knows no borders, our response must be an international effort. Ladies and gentlemen, in just over 2 weeks from now, the World Holocaust Forum Foundation, together with the President of Israel, Reuven Rivlin, and Yad Vashem, we will be hosting over 45 heads of state and other world leaders for the 5th World Holocaust Forum, marking the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. At that event, together with these leaders from around the world, we will send a strong message that anti-Semitism should no longer be tolerated and build a concrete roadmap for the battle against Jew hatred. We need every country to adopt and implement strong educational and legislative measures. We also need to gather punishments for incitement and hate speech, even from the early stage of words, online and offline, because as we know, words lead to action, and action could quickly lead to blood and death. We need to stop the daily story of daily anti-Semitism, which is affecting every diaspora in every community. We have to return to them a sense of security and normality. They must be able to openly identify as Jewish without becoming a target of hate. Thank you very much.